Hello, everyone. I'm home. Hey, I want to thank you all for the wonderful comments you made about the gifts that I was given from my friend's family, my friend that passed away. You guys had such warm sentiments about that, and it really meant a lot to me. I couldn't wait to set the table with those beautiful dishes that I received. I started out with the tablecloth that is actually a curtain with the Queen's dishes that they gave me 4 plates of, and I'm going to use those for my everyday dishes. And as you can see here, I put them on that tablecloth, which is the open weave curtain that I found at the thrift store one day. I think they look so pretty with that. I used my coffee mugs that I got at the Dollar General. I got them at the Dollar Tree that I used for my almost cocoa bar. This little dish I also got from my friends, and even though it doesn't match the dishes, it does match. It goes with it really well. So I thought it would be a cute little butter dish, or I don't know. It just goes really good with it. And while the second pattern, the William James farmyard pattern, is a little bit more, there are a lot more pieces. I decided not to use a tablecloth for those, and I set the table up so you could see how beautiful they're going to be. I love them. This is the dinner plate. Now, my silverware does not match, guys. I collect silverware all the time if I find old, heavy silverware. So my silverware never matches, and I don't care one bit. I just like all the different patterns. I'm just in love with them. And this is where I sat the whole place setting with the soup bowl that had the handles. Now, Jeffrey Kevin told me those are for cream soups. And then this is the regular soup bowl that's more shallow. And then I have the coffee cup and the saucer up there in the corner. Now, I don't think I'll really use coffee cups and saucers, so I decided to set the cream soup bowl on those saucers and use those instead of the coffees. And then I thought they looked really pretty. And that's a good idea to have a separate one for cream soups. And then I don't think I would use a teapot, but I'll definitely use the cream and sugars. And the teapot could be used as a vase. I could put roses in it. I thought white roses or a pink rose would look real pretty, or red. But I think the pattern is just so beautiful. And here I used it. I paired the Anchor Hawking ruby red swirl goblets with it that I picked up at the thrift store one day. I have 6 of those, so I finally found another one. I thought they looked really pretty with it, as well as with the Cape Cod pieces and the ruby red pieces that were also in the box of things that they gave me. And they gave me this ruby red vase, which I had given my friend about a year ago, and I'd filled it with roses. And the roses are still in it, and they're all dried, and they gave me the whole thing. So I set that in the middle of the table. And then I was thrifting the other day at Goodwill, and I saw this big compote. Now, what you're seeing here is the stem. I had to take it in 2 pictures because I couldn't get the whole thing in the picture. It's 14 and a half inches tall, and I don't know if it's a candle holder or if it's not a cake stand because it's too shallow in the middle, but I thought I could put a little piece of cardboard on the hole and then put like a little cake or some candy or a candle or just anything. It's 14 and a half inches tall, guys. It's beautiful. It's ruby red. It is flash painted, but I washed it real gentle, and I think it's going to be just fine. And then I got out my little bouquet that I also thrifted at Goodwill a couple of years ago that I had washed up real nice, and about once a year I run it through the sink with some Febreze or some good smelling water. And I thought you could even put flowers on top of that compote right in the middle of the table, and it would look really pretty. So you could put a candle, but I think what I'm going to do is bake a little cake and put on there, or a little pie. The top of it's probably about 6 or 8 inches across. And then I have a collection of these they're vintage Victorian. They used to give them out at carnivals, and they would engrave your name on them. I have several of those, and I thought they might look pretty with like Jello in them or something. They're kind of small. I have some different sizes. And then I even paired my cranberry glass compotes or goblets with these. I thought it kind of reminded me of the the transferware being more in the pink shades than red. It's more of a pinkish red than it is red. So the cranberry glass, all my cranberry glass goes with it perfectly. And then I paired my Longchamp glasses along with the Anchor Hawking ruby red swirl glasses, and those looked really well with it. I thought there's so many different combinations that you can use. And then I used my taller Longchamp goblets. I'm going to have to talk to Jeff or Kevin and find out exactly how many goblets and glasses you're supposed to have at a table setting and where to set them. I should learn from him because I watch him so much, but I was just putting them on here so you guys could see how everything I have really goes with it. Then I found these little tiny bowls. They're about an inch tall at the Dollar General, I believe, and they're red, and I thought, well, those would look pretty at the front of the plate to use as a little salt cellar or a little finger bowl if you do that kind of thing. But again, they're a little bit more red than the dishes. I think the dishes lend themselves to being on the a little bit more on the pink side, but when you see it in person, it looks fine together. I don't want to get too much going on. And then, of course, you can just use regular salt shakers. I have lots of sets of those, that I've thrifted. And I thought these looked really pretty on the table. And I kind of like the oak table showing up in the background rather than a tablecloth, although I have plenty of tablecloths. And then this is a pretty crystal compote I put with it. And just kind of goes to show you can use your crystal. This could be like a little jelly dish. This is real cut glass. And then I have so many that are pressed glass, cut glass. This is one of my favorite little butter dishes. It's small. It's only about 4 inches across. That would be beautiful on the table. So you don't have to just use the dish pattern. And I did look it up, and you can get serving bowls and gravy boats and things like that. So I may have to add to it just so it looks pretty in my display. And of course, this is one of the cruets that they gave me back that I had given her. You could use that for vinegar and oil dressing. I was just playing around this morning and putting all kinds of stuff on the table. And then, of course, you could use tarnished silver, and I have lots of that. I leave this on my table all the time with my salt and pepper on it. And then this would be pretty for rolls or, I don't know, put your napkins in it. Any kind of tarnished silver would look beautiful on this table with this pattern. And I had so much fun. I set it up 2 or 3 different ways. And then, of course, the ironstone. Now, the white ironstone doesn't look as pretty with it as the little bit darker, the cream-colored ironstone. But I thought you could pair a lot of different things with it. And, of course, whether it's the Queen's pattern of the rooster dishes or if it's the William James farmyard pattern, I am totally in love with all of them. And I loved your comments, and I love the fact that I can have her stuff all over my house. I love it. Now, I did do a little thrifting this week. I purchased this. It's one of those placemats that's like heavy, made out of cork. But I thought the picture was so beautiful, and 3 of them had scratches all over them, and this one had none, so I'm going to frame it. And then I found this pretty scarf. I didn't buy this, and I wish now that I had, because it would look pretty with some of those dishes, and it would look so pretty for Easter down the middle of my table. But my house doesn't, my kitchen and living room don't really have any pink in them. I'm more of a muted pink color, more of the rusty pink or I don't know what you'd call it, but this was beautiful, and it had such a pretty fringe on it. And then I saw this set of goblets. I'm goblet crazy, but I have so many sets of goblets. But I went around and they had them sitting all in different spots, and I put them all together. And I think there were 6 or 7 of them. And they had several of the Currier and Ives coffee mugs. I couldn't think of what they were called. They were 99 cents a piece, and that's a pretty good deal if you collect Currier and Ives. And of course, little mixing bowls I always go for. I didn't get these because I've got so many, but you can always find them in the thrift stores. These are great when you're baking a pie and you need to separate eggs and you need a lot of little bowls. And then I've told you before, if I ever find a big stack of these smaller 6-inch plates, especially vintage ones, I buy them, but I've got 2 stacks right now. One's blue and white, and one's the ironstone, but they're wonderful. This is the pattern. They're wonderful if you have a bunch of people over and you're serving pie or cake. You can just get out your stack of all your little plates, and you've got plenty. But like I said, I wanted these bad. They were $1.99 for all, but I pass because I have so many. Then guys, I can spot quality. I saw this leather purse. I could almost smell the leather as I walked up to it. I picked it up, and it was a Antonio Milani. I had never heard of this designer. I looked it up real quick and found that they were sold at Dillard's, and Dillard's is a high-end store, and this thing was fabulous. It was $4.99. I just took it. I smelled it first, of course. The hardware was perfect. It didn't have any scratches on it. It didn't look like it had ever been used. This was the inside. It was just wonderful. And I smelled it. It was clean. It didn't look like it had anything in the bottom of it or anything. It was soft, buttery leather. And I have a black leather purse, and it's on its last leg. So I'm getting rid of it. And this is going to be my new black leather purse. And it's so lightweight, soft, pliable. It's just beautiful. And it's like new. And I couldn't find it online, but the ones that I saw that were comparable sold for almost $200 at Dillard's. So I think I got a pretty good deal, and I'm going to love carrying it. Now, I've showed you this before. It's a hard case that I thrifted for 99 cents that I keep my eyeglasses in my purse. Well, the other day I was at Burlington, and I was looking around, and they had this one on sale on clearance for $1.09. So I purchased it to put my sunglasses in because I really like to have a hard case in my purse so that my glasses don't get scratched. And I had my sunglasses in a little cloth bag that I had made, and I decided that I was going to use this. So I'm real tickled to have it. And as I'm doing this voiceover today, I heard the sad news that we lost a legendary actor, Gene Hackman. And I think I've told you before that Dick Van Dyke was from our area, about 18-20 miles from us. And Gene Hackman also grew up in that area. And back in the 80s, he and Dick Van Dyke and Donald O'Connor and Bobby Short and Jerry Van Dyke all came back to Danville, Illinois, and did a fundraiser for the Fisher Theater where Dick Van Dyke and Gene Hackman used to work when they were young. And this is the picture that they took in front of the Hegler Mansion. And my brother was a pianist, and he played for that ceremony that night and the party, and he got to meet all of them and shake their hands, and he said they were really, really nice. And I remember my mom and I driving past the Hegler Mansion that night trying to get a glimpse of them because we didn't get to go to the party. And this is the Hegler Mansion where it was held, and it's a beautiful big mansion in Danville. But he was from the area where my husband taught school, and my husband knew some of his family members, and it's just kind of a sad day to lose him. So after I drove past the Hegler Mansion, I went downtown to the Celebrities of Danville mural. And as you can see, there's Bobby Short, Jerry Van Dyke, Dick Van Dyke, Gene Hackman, Donald O'Connor, and a lady named Helen Morgan that I've got to read up on. I don't know exactly what she did, but this mural's been there for several years, and it's really held up, and everybody around here is really proud. And people really come around when Dick Van Dyke comes home. I don't know if he's going to be coming home much anymore because he's getting up there, but we also went past the Fisher Theater, and I told my husband it would be neat if they had something on the marquee about him, and they did. It said, "Rest easy, Gene Hackman. Danville loves you." And I think that's a fitting memorial for him because everyone around here really does love him. And I wanted to show that to you guys since you don't live around here. So as always, if you enjoy my content, please follow me on Instagram. And I want to thank you guys. It's really windy here today, but it's sunny and feels like spring to us. And I don't even know what the temperature is, but we got to keep looking forward to spring and the beautiful weather and the beautiful flowers that are waiting for us. And as usual, I love you guys from the bottom of my heart.